Now, you might remember a few months ago, we told you about a crucifix that had been saved from the ruins of a church in France during the First World War and brought back to our region by an army chaplain.
The Reverend Percy Hewson later became vicar of All Saints Church in Tinwell, near Stamford, and the crucifix was put on display there for many years.
But at the weekend, a delegation from Tinwell travelled to France to return it. Our reporter Stuart Lees was there to see the crucifix being handed back.
A moving tribute to the fallen, as church congregations from both sides of the Channel gathered here at the First World War cemetery in the village of Doingt in northern France. The bugle, played by Chas McDevitt from Tinwell near Stamford, to mark the significance of this crucifix being returned to its rightful home.
I think we didn't realise the significance until we've actually come here, that, it's so much more important for them to have the cross here. For us, we were caretakers, and now there's that aspect of permanence coming back to the church in Doingt.
The story of how the crucifix had ended up at All Saints Church in Tinwell is linked to one of the most notorious engagements of the First World War, the Battle of the Somme. It was fought around the River Somme in northern France in 1916. Doingt is close to the river, and its church was destroyed in the bombardment. These 1916 trenches from the battle have been preserved here at the Beaumont-Hamel Memorial, about 20 miles away. It commemorates troops from Newfoundland, which is now part of Canada, who'd fought as part of the British forces.
It's remembered as a brutal period of trench warfare which took place between July and November 1916, involving British regiments and French troops fighting against the German army, with the aim of gaining a decisive victory here on the battle lines that were known as the Western Front.
1 million soldiers were killed and injured in the battle, and the war continued for another 2 years. This image shows parishioners standing in the ruins of the church in Doingt once it was safe to return. Many of the women dressed in black, mourning loved ones who'd lost their lives in the war. The Reverend Percy Hewson, a British Army chaplain, had been stationed near Doingt, and at some point he'd saved the crucifix from the rubble. After returning to Britain, he later became vicar of All Saints Church in Tinwell, where the cross was put on display. But on Saturday, it was finally returned to Doingt.
This crucifix is like relic, how to say relic, like a relic, because it was more than 100 years. It was kept and protected. So coming back is something very, very precious, I think.
The congregation in Tinwell had known some of the story of how the crucifix had ended up at All Saints, but it was only recently they discovered that Doingt had been rebuilt after the war and decided to return it. The Reverend Olwen Woolcock led the service with Father Brunel.
It has been the most wonderful day. We have so much enjoyed it. It's felt very meaningful as well because of the link that we have made with this community through returning the crucifix.
Because of the time that had passed, in Doingt, they were surprised to learn that there was a crucifix from the previous church.
We have no information here on the crucifix. We have nothing. We know the church was destroyed a lot, and okay, there is a crucifix in Tinwell. It was a surprise because why did he stay? Why did he stay in Tinwell? We don't know.
From Tinwell to Doingt, the gift of this religious relic back to where it belongs, and between both congregations as well, the gift of friendship. Stuart Lees, ITV News, Doingt in northern France.
Back to where it belongs.
Absolutely. It took a long time to get there, but now it's back there.